Okay, and we are,
Okay.
So, do our glasses look dirty or anything?
Yeah, we look fine. So, first off, when we start this, we start by spelling our first and last names. Clayton Peterson, Clayton Peterson, and I am interviewing.
Bobby Stansberry, Bobbystansberry.
Okay, so we'll get right into this, and the first question out of the box is, what is your approximate age?
I am going to be 60 years old in May. I know.
Is that serious?
I'm serious.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were... I've known you for 50 years. Were you a 10-year-old when I met you?
No, that was Larry.
Okay. So seriously,
Yeah, I'll be
60 years
60 years old in May.
old. Okay, if you could give us a brief description of your parents and siblings and what life was like growing up. Please include where you were born and raised.
Well, I was born and raised right here in Davenport, Iowa. I had a great father who worked at Alcoa. He was a great father. It took a little while to get him to understand quite what queer meant, but I got him there and he was cool. And my mother, again, an excellent mother. I was very lucky. I lost them both very young. My mother died when she was 48. My father died when he was 50. So I was 20, I think I was 20. Oh my gosh. I don't know. She'll be gone 34 years.
And did you have siblings?
Yeah, I do have siblings. I have an older sister, Debbie. And I have a younger sister, Joanne. They have kids of their own, grandkids, great-grandkids, my older sister.
So have nieces and nephews
A whole bunch of
great-nieces and nephews.
Mostly nephews. We just had a new niece. First time, and I think first niece in like 28 years, girl.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
At what age did you come out and how were you received by your family?
I was always out. I didn't come out. I was born out. But literally. You know, there was never no talk of it or anything like that. And like I said, it took me a while to get my dad to understand. And even my grandmother. Oh, Bob, one night she said, oh, gay! That now I know, gay. Because they would ask me, like father would ask me questions like, so when are you going to find yourself with a nice woman and settle down? And my answer would always be, Dad, I can't take care of myself. How do I take care of a woman and kids? Well, then finally, I said, Dad, I'm queer. What? Funny story. But ended up hugging and kissing, and I pick on him and tease him. Yeah, he's a great guy. We met every single Friday night. Had cocktails, him, grandma, me, mom, sisters.
What do you currently do for a living?
Well, we're in the middle of a pandemic, not much. I'm trying to make a living.
And
Times are tough right now for a small business.
And he's the owner of Mary's on 2nd,
Yeah.
which is one of the local known LGBT establishments.
I believe this year I'll be the longest gay bar open in the Quad Cities in years. It'll be 21 years in August, and I think Cross the River closed at year 20. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe that to be true.
I think that is true.
Yeah, and I'm the longest. I've got titles of the longest. Well, I guess living. I got to be living, working gay bartender in the Quad Cities as well. I've been a bartender for 43 years,
Oh my.
since I was 17 years old.
And you were illegal at that time.
Yeah, but the drinking age was 18. Yeah. I worked for a crook back then. No, I'm just joking.
Are you currently in a relationship or married, or have you been in any relationships or marriage?
Yes, no, and done. Yeah, I had some great relationships. Yeah.
Do you care to comment on any of those relationships? Long-standing, short-standing?
Oh, they were all pretty long-standing. Most of them died. How else do I say it? And one I would kill. No, I'm joking. I just got rid of, I think we're 3 years apart. That was 16 years. But it is what it is.
It is what it
I'll
is.
just let it at that.
Do you have any children?
Heavens no.
But you have pets?
Inherited pets.
Inherited pets.
And rescued pets, that's right. But I've always had pets.
And I think you already stated that you'd been accepted by your family. Have you been accepted by the community?
You know, when I was younger in school, when I did go to school, I didn't. The most education I've had is about 5th grade, because that's when I hated school because I was grabbed out of my chair and was beaten in front of the paddles, I guess you would call it, with a big piece of wood in front of the whole class, and that was it. From then on, it was nothing. But I was always kind of Nelly, feminine, whatever you want to call it. And everybody knew I was gay. I never, you know, I was always called faggot, you know, queer, all that stuff. Well then, you know, as time went on and got older, that stuff passed. And we were on our way to really being accepted. And then we had a president that took us completely backward. And I can honestly say, I believe I've been called faggot, queer more times in the last 4 years than I have in my whole life.
And so maybe we should date this tape, that this tape is being made the end of February 2021. And I don't know that we did that at the beginning.
Well, we
So-
did a different day, but yeah. And you know, things were good. We were rated the 9th friendliest city in the country, I believe, at one point. Most accepting, because there's a picture in the Quad City Times of us all standing against the wall over there, holding up number 9. We were 9th for most accepting LGBTQ community, something like that. That's been 2015, I think.
Gosh, I remember that picture, and
Yeah.
I'd forgotten all about that article.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, the hate just started coming back.
What has been the most difficult period in your youth or adult life?
Well, the most difficult period of both youth and adult has been all the loss of friends and family, customers, acquaintances, whatever you want to call them, partners. I've had a lot of loss, but I'm still smiling. I even lost my teeth.
Well, and the next question you kind of already answered. When did you first realize your sexual orientation? And I guess that was, you realized it
I knew.
early on, very early on.
Yeah, I knew when I was 2 years old.
And so,
And I don't even know how to explain it, but I knew that I wanted to be with a man. I didn't want no girls around me, or none, but only in the kitchen.
Only
You
in
know,
the
I love to hang out with the girls in the kitchen.
and you love to hang out with your two sisters.
Yeah, but you know, life, we've all gone our, not separate ways or nothing, but you know, takes you in different directions, and you know, their lifestyle's a lot different than mine. They have children and grandchildren, and I got children and grandchildren, a bar and employees. So, to
So your
speak.
extended family
Yeah.
is your children. How do you identify today?
Old. No, I'm gay. Did you not hear what I said? I'm gonna be 60.
I did hear that. In the early years during your coming out, and you came out when you were really young, was there any place that you felt more at ease or could identify with?
Well, I used to go fishing down the river with my grandfather. And my grandfather, this is how I found out where to go be with gay people. My grandfather, we drove through the levee and we'd go fish by the roller dams, we'd snag spoonbill. And my grandfather one morning said to me, "See that man right there, Bobby?" I'd say, "Yeah." He goes, "He's the nicest man you'd ever want to meet. And look how well dressed he is. He's going to work up to the bank. He's a banker. He's one of them queers." And you know, keep in mind, this is 45 years ago. And so we're driving, and he's that guy there too, Bobby. See that guy right there? Him? He's queer too. They all meet down here. This is where they hang out at the levee. Well, the next day I was on my bicycle and I was at the levee. And there you have it.
And you were how old then?
11 years old. But I wasn't, you know, I'm lucky I'm not dead. I'm lucky I wasn't picked up off of the riverfront hallway, but a very nice,
Kidnapped like.
yeah, a very nice gentleman by the name of Jim Smith seen me, and he said, "Come over here." He told me to sit down, and he goes, "You want something to eat?" They had the levee inn down there. And he bought me a hamburger and a pop. I'll make some French fries. And he said, "Now I want you to go home and stay away from here. You're going to get hurt hanging around down here. There's not everybody down here is good." Oh, okay. So we ended up, I was back again the next day. And we ended up remaining friends for years and years till he passed.
Jim Smith was one of the very early private party givers.
Oh, yeah.
And hosted a lot of
I
parties.
tended bar for him at his parties.
And I think that he really was out to help educate and protect
Oh, yeah.
the younger people.
Well, in his younger years, he lived in California, Hollywood, I think, San Francisco, someplace like that. And he was a big showgirl and all kinds. He was very well known in California. And then, of course, in his older years, he got very old.
Old. Just like the rest
Yeah.
of us. So, do your circle of friends, your youth circle of friends and young adult circle of friends, how did they associate with you or connect with you?
I have friends, I still have friends that I've had since I was 2 years old that, thanks to Facebook, of course, but some do still live in the area here. And we're all still great friends. You know, if somebody has a big party or, you know, wedding or whatever, we call each other family.
Very true.
Yeah.
And how has gay life affected your life?
I don't know how not to be gay. What is life not without being gay? I mean, sounds kind of boring to me.
Has any one particular person or event had a big influence or made a big difference in your life?
My grandpa. He told me where the gay people were. I don't know. I'd love to say I have a hero. My grandmother, you know. My grandmother was the true love of my life. Because when my parents died, she was right there. I mean, you know, we all hung out. We always hung out. And then it was just me and her. My other two sisters were busy raising their children, not drinking, you know. Hell, grandma was done and I was on my own.
And Grandma lived to be how old?
100 years and 7 months.
And she would come to the bar and have a drink
Oh
with you
yeah,
on Friday or Saturday
every
night.
Friday.
Every
And if I
Friday.
wasn't there at 5 o'clock, at 5:02 my phone would ring. Yeah. She was truly the love of my life. It's
Have-
like, you know, I don't know. I can't think of anybody that really changed my life. I love so many people. I love everybody basically. But, you know, not many people can say they have friends. You know, you've been my friend 45 years, you know, and heck, we're already 20 years, you know, and we're friends. We're not just, hey, I know that guy. You know, we've done things together. We worked together and would have a blast.
Right.
He never liked me much the next day, but the night we were working together, he liked me.
Have you ever experienced any aggression or physical combative circumstance during your life, and how were they handled?
Well, that's why I didn't go to school. I'd get called faggot and they'd beat me up, or try to beat me up. I could run. I was very tall and very skinny. And I would run from the school. My dad would try to make me go to school. He would take me to school, watch me go in the front door. I'd walk straight down the hallway, right out the door, and then he'd be off to work. And then I'd walk home. My grandmother would tell me stories that my mom would say, "Ma, look who's coming up the sidewalk." And she said I wouldn't even have to look. I'd say, "That damn Bobby." And sure enough, it'd be me coming up. Because I did, you know, I was up all day long. If I went to school, I'd be called faggot.
And so, when did you actually drop out of school? Did you drop out, or?
Oh yeah, I would just didn't go, and then they tried to put me in one of those, you know, not special school, but they called it drop-in school, where we went to this old firehouse. Yeah, and at the friendly house they had it too. And it was just school class, you know, just like school, and you could get your GED. But I never made it through there either. I even had a teacher call me faggot there. But, yeah, my biggest regret is I never finished school. Because I'd be retired and be rich. Because I would have been a veterinarian.
That's what you wanted to do when you were a youngster?
But yeah, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I always had animals.
What do you believe has stayed the same throughout your entire life?
Work. I've always worked. I started at 13 with the paper route. And I always had a job. I mean, I think one time in my life I did work for like 6 months. And then we had a crash here at the bar and I didn't work for 7 months. And we had a flood and I didn't and now we got whatever we got here, a pandemic. And we were closed for 10 weeks. But no, I work. It's really, and I've always been fortunate to have friends. I've always had friends. You know, people, I don't have any friends. You know, that makes me sad, so I try to be the friend. And then the next thing I hear, get borrow some money.
From your early life until today, acceptance is seen more readily in the Quad Cities, as you mentioned in the 2015 poster on the side of the building. Have you been an influence in this transition, and to what extent or to what events have you been an influence?
Well, I wanted to pat my own back, but I hope I've had an influence. You know, I try to help people, and you know, and back in the AIDS epidemic, we all came together. You know, it wasn't no government. It wasn't well, we had a few straight allies, and that we still have, fortunately.
Very true.
You know, that's what more can you ask for?
Yeah, so do you have any description of what it's like to be LGBTQ in the Quad Cities?
Right now, it's pretty boring. But it's always been, I've always had fun. If there ain't fun, I'll make some, you know? And if it takes a little booze to get that fun going, well, I got a whole bunch of that. Inventory's good.
Inventory's good. What places in the Quad Cities do you remember as being safe places to be out and be yourself?
Well, years ago, no. It was just like I said, the levee. Then there was the first bar that ever opened in Davenport, and that was Lonnie's Lower Level on 4th Street. It was in the old, what was it, Masons or?
Masonic Lodge, I think.
Yeah, across the street from Davenport City Hall. The big old stone building, corner of 4th and Harrison, east. What was it? Was it the Masonic Temple? Not Masonic Temple, that's up on it.
Masonic Lodge,
Yeah.
I think.
And Lonnie Gamble, Lon was his name, Gamble, another dear friend of ours. Your sister.
My sister.
My sister too. And then that was the first bar. Otherwise it was the levee.
Well, in the Hawaiian Lounge.
That was Illinois.
Oh, okay.
You know, I
So
was
you're-
talking about Davenport.
Okay.
But yeah, even when I was 14, I was in the Hawaiian Lounge
In Rock Island.
in Rock Island, and there were Augie's, and there was, what was the one Dwight McCarthy had? Not the Hawaiian Lounge, the other one. Did he have another one?
He did.
It's
Yeah.
where, Billy and we gave them.
Right. I
That's
can't
right.
remember the name of it either. But it
Yeah.
was after the Hawaiian Lounge burned down.
Yeah.
They moved over there.
It's called no, not the Connection.
No. It's not the connection.
Anyway, I'll think of it tonight when I'm going to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
But those were the only safe places, mostly the levee.
Have you ever been involved with any nonprofits like QCAD, AIDS Project, Quad Cities, De La Cerda House, etc.? Any nonprofits? How about
All
Quad
of them.
City Pride?
All of them. Like I said, you know, I hope I've made some kind of impact, you know. I wore dresses for the project now.
Many of us did.
Yes, we did.
You know, and I don't know that it's been said, but the We Care Weekend was started in 1989. And I remember as a fact that the first year that started in 89, and it was over Memorial Day weekend, they raised $2,000, and it doubled the budget of the Quad Cities AIDS Coalition is what it was
Yeah.
known then, and it's now the project. So, and you had a big part in that, and
Yeah, we both did. And heck, I think one time we raised almost $100,000 almost on that We Care Weekend.
and that was when the We Care Weekend actually had evolved to almost a whole month.
Yes.
And it was the whole month of May, and we threw all the totals, and there were several other organizations that helped us, and
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, we had tons of fun. But you can't even get people to come out for a drink. You know, people have been very good to me. You know, if it wasn't for the community, I wouldn't be sitting here right now as far as financially with an open bar. Because they're the ones who saved me more than once. From floods, you know, pandemics, you know, car crashes. They've been totally amazing to me. They've done GoFundMe, you know. But you can't get them to come out for a drink. But I suppose none of us want to die.
and that
Most of us, anyway.
as the AIDS crisis and the fight for LGBT rights played out on a national level, how did those events affect the LGBTQ community here in the Quad Cities?
Well, I think it help the whole country, you know. Like I said, we had it going there for a while until all of a sudden some old hateful guy showed up, and I believe that. I'm right here, you know. Like I said, I haven't been called faggot, queer so much in my whole life as I have been in the last, I'll say, 5 years. I mean, in a grocery store, sitting in your car, at a stoplight, just pop off. They don't even know me. Well, most people know me because I'm always on the news or something.
Well, how do they identify you as being gay then? Do you
Just
have a
by the-
sticker on your...
No, I have no stickers on my. They just either recognize me or I just look gay. I don't know. Whatever that is.
Yeah, well, whatever that is, to look gay. What advice do you have for other LGBTQ and questioning people as they grow older?
If you're gay, you know it. You might not want to accept it because I never really had a hard time. I don't know how to explain it, but I question, why am I gay? Well, I was born this way. And that's the conclusion I came up with. And I know so many men that back, in the day, and I guess still today, no, you're not gay. It's you get me and want a lady and you get married. And you have children. And I know many who have done just that. Gotten married, raised a family for, 25 years, got the children all raised, and then they get divorced, and then they become who they really are. I'm sure you as well do, We know, I know people, but they stayed to the commitment of raising their children. They raised their children, and then it became their time. And most of them have fared pretty well. I mean, I know some who didn't. They lost their whole families because of it.
If you could go back and give your younger self some advice, what would that advice be, and would that apply to youth today?
That's kind of a funny one. Advice. I don't think I've got very good advice. Except have fun, and I always had fun. I'm not, and go to school. Go to school, get an education. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself at 60 years old working, which most people do anyway. That wasn't the plan.
Do you have any concerns for future generations? Our future generation?
Straight across the board. Yeah, because things are pretty ugly. Things are pretty ugly right now, if you ask me. I mean, not everywhere and not everyone, but there's a lot of ugly.
So we need more compassion and
Love.
more acceptance, more love. More love.
Mind your own business. Let's have fun and mind your own business.
What do you most look forward to at this time of your life?
Your teeth? I want to be able to retire and enjoy a few years, have some fun without having to work. I mean, I don't work real hard right now, I'm fortunate, but that could be all gone in the blink of an eye. One lock of the door, I'll be looking for a job.
What has been the most important, successful contributions that you've made to the LGBT community?
A good laugh. Fun. I can't, like I said, I ain't one to scratch my own back. I don't need all that.
Well, you should. I think that you've kept a nice, clean establishment open
21
for
years.
people to come
But
and
now
feel
I
safe.
haven't, that's, I guess I could say I'm proud of that, but I didn't do it on my own. That's for sure. It's me, employees, former employees, dead employees,
Has there been any big frustration in your life? Some hurdle you've not been able to get over?
Getting my laundry done.
That's
No, you know what, if I die tomorrow, I'm happy. I had a good time. I had a good time and a good run. I ain't running so fast, but I had a good run. I mean, no, I don't know what, like, I never had no great big goals. You know, I wanted to be a veterinarian, like I said, when I was younger. But you don't go to school, you can't be things like that.
I love that comment, getting your laundry done, because I thought when this interview would start that we might air some dirty laundry today, but I guess we really haven't done that. We've done pretty good.
Well, I can talk about people if you want, but I don't like to talk about people.
Yeah, and that's not our purpose in all of this.
We're peaceful, kind, loving people.
Anything in general that you would like to add to this interview that you feel is important for the community to know?
Well, if somebody don't like you, just walk away from them. Who needs that? You know? You can go home and talk to the wall. It's going to be just as good. But if you can make a difference in somebody's attitude towards you or towards a certain demographic of a community, or you know, anything you can do good, just do good. Try to be nice. And I know it's not always easy to be nice, and I've not always been nice. I've been pretty hateful, but I've grown up and I learned from my mistakes, and you move on. So I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. I love you.
I want to follow up on some of the stories you've told me about down at the levee.
Oh.
Describe for
Should
the
I get
viewers what that
graphic?
was like.
Well, it's pretty graphic. I mean, we had nowhere to go. We didn't have, you could go to a hotel room, but, we'd go down there, we'd drive back and forth in our cars, and we'd meet up. We'd get in one car, or, a couple guys go off into the wherever, and yeah, it happened. It happened there. Sometimes right outside your car. The bathrooms down there at the levee during the afternoon. These guys would come down for lunch and go in the bathroom, and yeah.
And what about the gay bashers?
Well, we used to call them fruit beaters. And, not all of us gay people are little sissies like most people would like to think. Not most people, but mean people. So, well, there was a few of us, one of the great well-known performers in our area. You'd call her a legend, Miss Norma Jean. That's who I hung out with down there when I was 12, 13, 14. And they'd come through screaming faggot, throwing stuff, and everybody would run to their cars. Not me and Norma Jean, and there was a few other ones, Rusty, Clavon, and Mike Schoner. They're all pretty much dead.
Norma Jean's still alive.
No, yeah, Norma Jean's alive, yeah. She's still alive and kicking. I talk to her every so often. I've been friends with Norma Jean since I was 14. That's what it was, or you'd get in your car, you'd go to somebody's house with them, or, that's what we were there for, to meet men. Anybody lying? Some of us met more than others, and some didn't meet any.
What was it like bartending with Clayton Peterson?
Oh, we had a riot. Then you have to get up and go to work in the morning. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And
That was only Wednesday night. I worked until 3 o'clock at the bar, and I had to be to work at the post office at 4. And I worked until 12:30. And there were nights that back then I didn't get my work done after work. And so when I got done at the post office, I went back to the bar and finished what I was supposed to do the night before. I mean, it all worked.
Yeah, we just did what I worked all from 8 in the morning until 3 in the morning. I worked from 8 in the morning until 5 at the bookstore. And then I'd get off at 5, I'd go have a couple happy hour drinks. I'd go home, take a 45-minute nap, be back to work at 11 o'clock at JR's. With Clayton.
And how many years did we work together? I worked from 78, no. Yeah, from 78 to 98. When did JR's close his bar?
Well, 1 year after we opened, so 2001.
So I quit, I think in 98. I worked 20 years for.
I worked 10 years with him. Because I quit in 2000. Yep, I quit in 2000. That would make what, 1990? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I worked at JR's, then I worked at Madison Square, then I went back to JR's, and then from there was when I went to Texas. Oh no! From Madison Square I went to Texas, and then I came back from Texas and worked for JR again. That's what it was.
Anything else we need to cover?
I don't know. I don't think so. You came up with stuff I would have never thought of.
I love you, Bobby Stansberry.
I love you, my friend.
Hug, hug, hug.
Yeah, well, pandemic, we're not hugging, but we can send the love.
That was always a great compliment to me when you that time you told me, Bobby Stansberry, you're the one who taught me how to say I love you.
And you were. That it's not inappropriate for two people to say I love you.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
I've always, like my parents were the same way. You know, that we were loved when we were kids and kissed and hugged on and stuff, but when you get teenage, you know, I made my father, I literally held his arms. He was a skinny, tall guy like me. And I held his arm down, I'd kiss him on the cheeks. I said, and then after about 2 weekends of that, he'd kiss me right on the lips and tell me he loved me. Because he told me, this was after my mother passed, and he told me that it made him feel so good when we get to talking, you know, how good it made him feel to tell me that he loved me and that I loved him, and that we both knew that. And I was like, see, it is important to know it, not just know it, to hear it.
Affirmative action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that it?
Are we done?
Yes, we're done. Thank you.
That's a wrap.